Hey guys, welcome back to Sin's Gaming Channel. And so today I finished the campaign of Call of Duty World War II, and I have to say I really didn't like it. Now the first mission really started bad, but I have to finish these campaigns so nobody can ever tell me, yeah, but you didn't play this and this mission and everything. So I went to the second mission and it was good. I really liked the second mission until the end, where suddenly you're driving a Jeep at 200 hours, 200 kilometers an hour through German lines, below tanks, through everything, and you end up on some kind of place where some Americans are surrounded by German troops. You drive into that place and you gun down dozens of Germans at point blank distance from you with that machine gun, and it's absolutely over the top hilariously bad. And that really set the tone for the rest of the game, because everything that you do is over the top heroically stupid. I mean, you get to fight close combat, kind of close combat with Tiger tanks. Then for example, you have one fight where you are in a Sherman tank and you are confronted with a Tiger and a Panzer IV. And I don't think I have to really tell you that in reality that fight will be rather short and you would be on the losing end. Especially since, and I'm really just stressing that point, you're not starting at a position that is in any way favorable to you. Quite the opposite. You start in front of the Tiger when you are in the tank. You're in a tank in a Sherman or whatever. And if the Tiger would shoot you at that moment, which it would, should, or could, you would be dead instantly and the game would be over. We're talking here about 20 meters in front of you, straight ahead, with the turret aligned to you. But so anyway, every gunfight in the game is basically just you killing dozens and dozens of Germans easily. I mean, the German resistance is basically not existent. It seems like the Germans in this game again were not able to do anything against these super American soldiers, who would just mow down hundreds upon hundreds of Germans each. Now, but the real problem, I mean, this is a game made by Americans, which I guess is for Americans as well. So let's put that aside and let's focus a little bit on the gameplay itself and the game itself. So the game features a lot, I mean really, I mean a lot. I mean like 1/3 of the game, or the game playing time you have is you watching cutscenes. Of those cutscenes, I guess most of the cutscenes, the long ones anyway, are made with an other engine than the game engine. Or there is, I don't know what, I guess it's called an engine. And they do not look like the game itself. They look absolutely gorgeous, and that's kind of, I mean, it's you know why they do it. It's because they try to sell their game, but it's also very misleading, because you see all these cutscenes on YouTube, you see all these the trailers and whatever, and they all are made with that engine that is used to make the cutscenes. While the actual game, well, it still doesn't look bad. I don't say the game looks bad. It does not, but it does not look anywhere close as those cutscenes. So this gives kind of the image that they built the game around those cutscenes, using those cutscenes to make the trailer, to sell the game, and then attach their typical Call of Duty gallery shooter to it, which is just weak. I mean, the gameplay in Call of Duty is just so weak, and it baffles me that some people don't see it. It's your typical console shooter, and what I mean by that is it's running from point A to B and then just take cover somewhere, and while you're at cover, point your gun at enemies 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 dozen, 2 dozen, kill them one by one until there's either nothing left, or you just decide it's boring, let's move on and hit the next checkpoint. So magically all enemies disappear, or magically your squad mates appear. So the entire game is basically this, with very few exceptions, but basically it's just a long corridor of you running from A to B, and occasionally killing dozens and dozens of Germans in firefights, which seriously the Americans, in this case, I mean really, none of the firefights is in any way realistic or even conceivable as possible. I mean, they're so over the top. The amount of the numbers, the sheer numbers of Germans that are getting killed in those firefights. I mean, you wouldn't think that those same Germans a couple years earlier would have conquered half of Europe. Or most of Europe, actually. I think most of Europe. So it's I don't know if they try to make Americans look good or the Germans look bad. So they kind of fail with both because it's over the top. Now, but anyway, now the story itself, like I said, it's really pro-American patriotism to the end and whatever. And yeah, I couldn't be really bothered with it. The characters are all your stereotypical Americans. You have the farm boy, the drunk, then you have the German Jew, and yeah, talking about that. So there's something that really bothered me in the story was at some point they get into a camp. I don't know what it's called. It's not really called. I guess it's a concentration camp. And the only thing they mention in that scene are how they mistreated the American soldiers. Now, I'm not a historical expert, but I think that most people who died in those concentration camps were not American soldiers. I mean, we're talking about Jews and slaves and Slavic people and mentally ill people and physically ill people and whatever, and all sorts of people who did not fit into the Aryan image of purity or usability or whatever. But they do not mention that. They only mention American soldiers and how bad those American soldiers have been treated in those 2 months they have been there. And I think that's really a slap into the face of every other group of people who have suffered at the hand of the Nazis during the war, before the war, whatever. So that really left a bad taste in my mouth, and especially since it's at the end of the game, it really does not help to give the game a better impression. So yeah, for some more for the gameplay, the guns, they are, I don't know, they feel weak. They're using the old hit scan type of hit registration. So you just point and click. There is no travel time. There is no bullet drop. There's nothing. I mean, I don't accept to have bullet drop at that short distances, but at least, I don't know, some recoil or something. It just doesn't feel right, and yeah, it doesn't sound right either. Now, Call of Duty, I don't know why some people still say that it has good sounds. There are tons of other games which have perfected the sound of guns or of engines and whatever. Call of Duty does not have good sounds. I'm sorry, the sound effects in Call of Duty, they just feel off. It feels weirdly muffled, and the guns, they do not... If you fire a gun in Call of Duty, you don't feel like you're actually firing a gun. It's just more like a pew 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 shooter type of sound. So that really doesn't help either. So yeah, so just to cut this a little bit shorter than I actually wanted it to be. The game, to me, I would call it a shit sandwich. Meaning, you have these beautiful cutscenes, which, I mean, just from a technical point of view again, I would watch a movie made with that engine easily, no problems, if the story is alright, of course, but the engine, you could make movies with it. And you probably have enough footage in this game to make a 90-minute movie easily. But however, everything else around is just poor shit. I mean, the gameplay is shit, the guns are shit, the enemies are, I have to say, shit. The whole thing is just garbage. And I don't see why people still act like Call of Duty was that big thing that absolutely must have. And I mean, I guess it's really more the consoles that are selling this game, because on PC the player numbers are quite low. I mean, we're talking now in what is it? Today it's Sunday, Sunday afternoon in Europe, and there are less than 15,000 people playing this new game, which is really bad. And I last checked the other Call of Duty games, and there were less than 1,000 people playing for each different Call of Duty version on Steam. So I really think that Call of Duty is all but dead on PC. It just lives on as a zombie nightmare on console, and hopefully it will be over soon. Anyway, I will really not recommend this game, and I hope that you trust me on this, or otherwise you can just flame in the comment section. Anyway, thanks for watching, and please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!